Okay, I'd now like to talk a little about what post-traumatic stress disorder is. It's a normal reaction to an abnormal event. Emergency service workers, as well as obviously armed service personnel, encounter traumatic experiences frequently as part of their vocation, yet many of them do not realise they are suffering. Most people in time do get over such experiences without needing any help. However, for some people, these traumatic experiences set off a reaction that can last for months or even years. Now, a traumatic event is one in which we believe we are in serious danger or risk of dying. Or it can be when we see somebody else dying or being severely injured. Nearly everyone will have some sort of symptoms after experiencing such an event. This is natural and it can help you to come to terms with what you've just witnessed. Unfortunately, not everybody is so lucky. More than 1 in 5 people will find their symptoms persist. So what are some of the symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder? Well, after one of these traumatic experiences that we just talked about, people often feel depressed, anxious, guilty, or even angry. As well as these understandable emotional reactions, there are 3 main types of symptoms produced by such an experience. The first one is flashbacks and nightmares. You can find yourself reliving the event over and over again. Now, this can happen in the day as a flashback, or it can just be a nightmare when you're asleep. What will happen though is that you'll see the event over and over again. Not only will you see it, you will feel the emotion, feel the bodily sensations that you experienced at the time. Now, a flashback is usually triggered by an external event. It could be a sound, it could be a smell, it could be a piece of music, but something that reminds you of the experience. Okay, the second symptom, avoidance or numbing. It can be very upsetting to relive your experience, obviously. You may not want to talk about the event with anyone, so instead you distract yourself by keeping your mind occupied. This could be by absorbing yourself in a hobby, working extremely hard, or playing computer games. You may avoid people and places that remind you of your trauma. One coping strategy for the pain you're feeling is to try to feel nothing at all and become emotionally numb. The third main symptom is hyper-vigilance. You may find that you stay alert nearly all the time, as if you are expecting danger. You'll find it virtually impossible to relax. You'll feel anxious and may suffer from insomnia. People around you will notice that you are jumpy and irritable. Okay, there's some other possible symptoms you may suffer from. Emotional reactions to traumatic stress can be accompanied by muscular aches and pains, migraines or headaches, panic and anxiety attacks, depression, alcoholism, drug addiction, including prescribed medication. Sometimes you can suffer from even diarrhea, sexual fetishes, although in the forces that might not be a sign of PTSD, extreme mood swings and violent outbursts. Now, ordinary stress, everybody suffers from time to time, and that is entirely subjective. Stress is just an emotional reaction to everyday events. These events could be work, relationships or money. They are part of normal everyday life, but can produce anxiety, depression, anger, tiredness and headaches. They can also make some physical problems worse, such as stomach ulcers, skin problems, you name it. There's lots of symptoms for stress. They say it's the biggest killer in the Western world these days. This is not the same as post-traumatic stress disorder. Right, here's some of the ways that you can tell if you may be suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. You have vivid memories, flashbacks or nightmares. You avoid things that remind you of a specific event. You feel emotionally numb. You suffer from mood swings but no apparent reason. You find it difficult to get on with other people. You have to keep yourself very busy just to distract yourself. You feel irritable and constantly on edge. You are often fatigued or exhausted. You feel depressed. You drink large amounts of alcohol or have a drug habit. Okay, in the forces we know how to drink, but I'm sure you know the difference between going out with the guys for a few wets and a problem with alcohol. Yeah? If it is less than 6 weeks since your traumatic event, these symptoms may be improving, then it might be part of the normal process of adjustment. If it is more than 6 weeks since the event and these experiences don't seem to be getting any better, I advise you to contact your doctor before seeking any alternative treatment. Okay, so you think you might be suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. As I keep saying, the first thing to do is to contact your doctor. Try to keep life as normal as possible. Talk about what happened to a friend or a family member that you can trust. Use relaxation techniques such as yoga, self-hypnosis, tai chi, guided meditation, that sort of thing. Try to eat regularly. Exercise frequently, because this will release endorphins, which are the natural feel-good drugs that we produce in our bodies. Spend time with your family and friends. Be more careful in general. Accidents can happen easily when you're suffering from something like post-traumatic stress disorder. Expect, and more importantly, believe that you will get better. Things that you should avoid. Don't beat yourself up. Post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms are not a sign of weakness. They are a normal reaction to terrifying experiences. Don't bottle up your feelings. Don't keep it to yourself, because treatment is usually very successful. Don't avoid talking about it. There's people out there that will listen and can help. Don't stay away from people and shut yourself away. Obviously, don't drink lots of alcohol or get into drugs, too much coffee, or even smoke cigarettes more. And eat regularly and don't miss meals. Okay, what sort of treatment is available for PTSD? Well, firstly, as I keep saying, go and see your doctor. He will be qualified to tell you what helps out there and prescribe any medication should you need it. We already talked about things that you can do for yourself, like taking up yoga, tai chi, meditation. Now, when I was working as a consultant, it would depend on the individual on what sort of treatment I would offer. There are therapists out there, psychotherapists, emotional freedom technique therapists that you can go and see, but do your research on them before you go and see them. I can talk briefly about a case study where I helped someone with PTSD. I had a client who came to me who had encountered somebody coming towards him with a knife covered in blood. My client obviously thought that his life was in danger, which you would do if someone's coming at you with a knife. Turns out the blood was the other person's and they had been stabbed and they were looking for help. However, the initial reaction of my client was, I'm about to die. So their symptoms were they were having flashbacks, they were struggling to sleep. When they did sleep, the first thing that was in their mind was this person coming towards them with a knife. One session of EFT and my client reported back that they'd had no more nightmares, slept soundly, and had never thought about the event again. They could actually talk about the event without having any emotion whatsoever. And they reported back to me 6 months later, a year later, that they were still fine. So this is how good EFT can actually be. Before going to see somebody, as I say, do your research. But there's lots of help out there for you. I'm going to help you in the next video by teaching you a little about EFT so that you can do it for yourself. So click on the next video and we'll go deeper into what you can do to help yourself.